In the vast expanse of space, a new power was rising. The Galactic Empire, a coalition of advanced alien races, had spent centuries conquering and unifying thousands of worlds across the Milky Way. Their massive fleets of sleek, silver starships patrolled the space lanes, enforcing their will on all who dared to resist. At the head of this empire sat the Emperor, a being of immense psychic power and cunning. From his crystal palace on the capital world of Zax Prime, he directed the endless expansion of his domain. The Emperor's most trusted advisors, the Council of Seven, managed the day-to-day affairs of the Empire. Each member of the Council represented a different alien race, but all were united in their loyalty to the Emperor and their belief in the superiority of the Galactic Empire. As the Empire's borders expanded, they began to hear whispers of a small blue planet on the outer rim of the galaxy. This world, called Earth by its inhabitants, was said to be home to a species of primitives who had only recently discovered spaceflight. The Council of Seven saw Earth as an easy target, a world ripe for conquest and integration into the Empire. Admiral Zorn, the military leader of the Galactic Empire, was tasked with preparing the invasion fleet. Zorn was a veteran of 100 campaigns, his scaly skin marked with the scars of countless battles. He assembled a force of 10,000 warships, each capable of reducing a city to ash in minutes. The invasion fleet was the largest the Empire had ever assembled for a single world. As the fleet prepared for departure, the Emperor's chief scientist, Dr. Excel, made a startling discovery. Her sensors had picked up unusual energy readings from Earth. These readings suggested that the humans might possess technology far beyond what the Empire had expected. Dr. Excel, her 4 eyes blinking rapidly in excitement, rushed to inform the Council of Seven. The Council debated long into the night. Some argued for caution, suggesting they send scouts to gather more information. Others, like the warlike General Kraz, demanded an immediate attack with overwhelming force. In the end, they decided on a compromise. A small advance force would be sent to Earth to assess the situation and prepare for the main invasion. Captain Lyra, a young and ambitious officer, was chosen to lead the advance force. Her mission was to establish a hidden base on Earth's moon and gather intelligence on the planet's defenses. Lyra was both excited and nervous about the responsibility. This was her chance to prove herself worthy of joining the ranks of the Empire's elite. As Lyra's ships approached the solar system, they encountered their first surprise. The humans had established a network of early warning satellites far beyond the orbit of Pluto. These satellites immediately detected the alien ships and sent warnings back to Earth. On Earth, governments around the world reacted with a mix of fear and determination. Emergency meetings were called, and long-dormant defense plans were dusted off and put into action. In Washington, D.C., the President of the United States addressed the nation, calling for unity in the face of this unprecedented threat. Meanwhile, in a secret underground facility, a team of Earth's brightest scientists and engineers worked frantically to complete a project that had been in development for decades. Project Aegis was humanity's ultimate defense system, a network of advanced weapon platforms hidden throughout the solar system. If they could bring it online in time, it might give Earth a fighting chance against the invaders. As Lyra's ships entered the orbit of Jupiter, they were met with a hail of missiles launched from bases hidden on the gas giant's moons. The captain watched in shock as several of her ships exploded into balls of plasma. She had not expected such resistance so far from Earth. Lyra quickly ordered a retreat, realizing that her small force was outmatched. As her remaining ships limped back towards deep space, she knew that the conquest of Earth would not be the easy victory the Empire had anticipated. The humans, it seemed, were full of surprises. Back on Earth, leaders from around the world gathered at the United Nations to form a unified response to the alien threat. For the first time in history, old rivalries were set aside as humanity prepared to defend its home against the stars. As news of the failed scouting mission reached the Galactic Empire, the Emperor himself took notice. Earth, it seemed, would require his personal attention. The stage was set for a confrontation that would determine the fate of humanity and shake the foundations of the Galactic Empire. The news of Earth's unexpected defense spread quickly through the ranks of the Galactic Empire. Admiral Zorn, his pride wounded by the failure of the initial scouting mission, demanded immediate action. He ordered the full invasion fleet to advance, confident that the sheer numbers of his forces would overwhelm any resistance the humans could muster. As the massive Imperial Armada entered the solar system, they were met with an astonishing sight. The space around Earth was alive with activity. Thousands of small, agile spacecraft darted between the planets, setting up defensive positions and laying mines in the paths of the incoming enemy ships. On Earth, the Global Defense Initiative was in full swing. In every major city, people worked around the clock to prepare for the coming battle. Underground shelters were stocked with supplies, and civilian volunteers trained to assist in emergency response efforts. The sense of unity among the world's nations was unprecedented, with former enemies now working side by side to protect their shared home. Dr. Emily Chen, the lead scientist of Project Aegis, raced against time to bring the full defensive network online. From her command center deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, she coordinated with teams spread across the solar system. As the Imperial fleet approached, more and more of the hidden weapons platforms came to life, their powerful energy weapons charging silently in the void of space. The first clash between Earth's defenses and the Imperial fleet took place near the orbit of Mars. A group of human ships, led by the charismatic Captain John Martinez, engaged in a daring hit-and-run attack against the Empire's forward elements. Using the red planet's moons as cover, Martinez's ships struck quickly and vanished before the larger Imperial vessels could respond effectively. Admiral Zorn watched in growing frustration as his fleet's advance was repeatedly delayed by these guerrilla tactics. He had expected to crush Earth's defenses quickly, but instead found himself facing an enemy that refused to stand and fight on his terms. In his anger, he ordered an acceleration of the timeline, pushing his ships harder towards Earth. This aggressive move played right into humanity's hands. As the Imperial fleet passed through the asteroid belt, they triggered a series of carefully placed gravitational traps. Entire sections of the belt seemed to come alive, with massive rocks and chunks of ice suddenly changing course to pummel the invading ships. Hundreds of Imperial vessels were damaged or destroyed in what became known as the asteroid gambit. Back on Earth, the first images of the space battle were broadcast to an anxious public. People gathered in town squares and around view screens to watch humanity's first major victory against the Galactic Empire. The sight of Imperial ships breaking apart under the assault of the asteroid belt sent cheers echoing around the world. However, the celebration was short-lived. Despite their losses, the Imperial fleet was still vast, and it continued its relentless advance towards Earth. Dr. Chen worked feverishly to bring the final elements of Project Aegis online, knowing that it would soon face its ultimate test. As the battle raged in space, Earth itself was not idle. Launch facilities around the planet roared to life, sending waves of advanced fighter craft to join the defense. These ships, piloted by the best and bravest from every nation, formed a last line of defense around their homeworld. The Imperial fleet, now within striking distance of Earth, began to deploy its planet-killer weapons. Massive energy beams lanced out from the largest ships, aimed at key military and population centers. But as the beams approached Earth, they met an unexpected obstacle. Project Aegis revealed its true nature. A shimmering energy field sprang into existence around the planet, absorbing and deflecting the Imperial assault. Dr. Chen and her team cheered as years of work paid off in this crucial moment. The shield wasn't impenetrable, but it would buy Earth precious time. Enraged by this latest setback, Admiral Zorn ordered his fleet to press the attack at all costs. Imperial ships began suicide runs against the energy shield, trying to overwhelm it through sheer force. The space around Earth became a frenzy of explosions and energy discharges as human and imperial forces clashed in close combat. On the far side of the moon, a small team of human special forces, led by the stoic commander Sarah Wong, embarked on a desperate mission. Their goal was to infiltrate and sabotage the Imperial command ship, hoping to throw the enemy into disarray. As they approached in their stealth craft, the fate of the battle, and perhaps of Earth itself, hung in the balance. The resistance of Earth had taken the Galactic Empire completely by surprise. What was supposed to be an easy conquest had turned into a costly and brutal conflict. As the battle raged on, both sides knew that the next few hours would determine the course of the war and the future of humanity among the stars. As the battle raged in space, an unexpected development unfolded on Earth. The United Nations Security Council received a transmission from the Galactic Empire. Admiral Zorn, frustrated by the unexpectedly fierce resistance, was calling for negotiations. This sudden shift caught Earth's leaders off guard, sparking intense debate in the emergency war room. Dr. Amelia Rodriguez, a brilliant linguist and diplomat, was quickly summoned to New York. Her expertise in alien communication, gained from years of studying transmissions from deep space, made her the ideal candidate to lead Earth's negotiation team. As she prepared for the most important meeting in human history, Dr. Rodriguez felt the weight of billions of lives on her shoulders. The Empire's delegation arrived in a small but heavily armed ship, landing under heavy guard in a specially prepared area of Central Park. The alien diplomats, led by the shrewd Ambassador Xinta, emerged from their craft. Their insect-like appearance, with iridescent exoskeletons and multiple compound eyes, caused a stir among the watching crowds. Inside the United Nations building, now fortified and shielded against potential attacks, the two sides faced each other across a long table. The tension in the room was palpable as Dr. Rodriguez and Ambassador Xinta began their verbal sparring. The Empire's demands were steep. Earth was to surrender immediately, dismantle its defenses, and submit to imperial rule. In return, they promised to spare the majority of the human population and allow limited self-governance under imperial oversight. Ambassador Xinta spoke with a mix of condescension and barely concealed frustration, clearly expecting a quick capitulation. Dr. Rodriguez, however, was not intimidated. She calmly but firmly rejected the Empire's terms, countering with Earth's own proposal: the immediate withdrawal of imperial forces from the solar system, recognition of Earth's sovereignty, and the establishment of peaceful diplomatic relations. Her boldness seemed to catch the alien diplomats off guard. As the negotiations continued, both sides engaged in subtle psychological warfare. The humans, led by Dr. Rodriguez, demonstrated an unexpected understanding of galactic politics, hinting at alliances and knowledge that unsettled the imperial delegation. Meanwhile, Ambassador Xinta attempted to sow discord among Earth's representatives, exploiting old national rivalries and fears. Unknown to the imperial diplomats, Earth had a secret advantage. Hidden within the negotiation team was Lieutenant Jake Harper, a psychic operative trained in Project Oracle, a classified program developed in response to early detection of alien telepathic abilities. As Ambassador Xinta attempted to use subtle mind-probing techniques, Harper quietly blocked and misdirected these efforts, giving Earth's team a crucial edge. Outside the negotiation room, both sides maneuvered for advantage. Imperial spies attempted to infiltrate key Earth facilities, while human counterintelligence teams worked tirelessly to track and neutralize these threats. In orbit, the battle had reached a stalemate, with both fleets regrouping and repairing damage from the initial clashes. As the talks stretched into their second day, a breakthrough seemed imminent. Dr. Rodriguez had masterfully steered the conversation towards a potential compromise: a limited technology exchange program and non-aggression pact between Earth and the Empire. Ambassador Xinta, impressed by the humans' unexpected sophistication, began to show signs of considering the offer seriously. However, just as an agreement appeared within reach, chaos erupted. Alarms blared throughout the UN building, and security forces rushed to secure the diplomats. Reports flooded in of a massive cybernetic attack on Earth's global communications network. The imperial delegation vehemently denied any involvement, appearing genuinely surprised by the development. In the confusion, Dr. Rodriguez made a startling discovery. Hidden in the complex alien language used by the imperial diplomats were subtle clues that hinted at a third party's involvement. She realized that the empire itself might be being manipulated by an unseen force, one that wanted to ensure the failure of the peace talks. As the negotiations fell into disarray, both human and imperial leaders scrambled to understand the new threat. The cybernetic attack crescendoed, causing blackouts in major cities and disrupting military communications. In orbit, unidentified ships began appearing at the edges of the solar system, their designs matching neither Earth nor imperial technology. Ambassador Xinta, shaken by these revelations, made a hasty departure from Earth. As the imperial shuttle lifted off, Dr. Rodriguez watched with a mix of frustration and determination. The diplomatic struggle had ended in chaos, but it had also revealed a greater mystery, one that could change the entire nature of the conflict. Back in the war room, Earth's leaders faced a daunting new reality. Not only were they fighting against the Galactic Empire, but they now had to contend with an unknown force that seemed intent on prolonging the conflict. As reports of the new ships and continued cyber attacks poured in, humanity prepared for a war that had suddenly become far more complex than anyone had imagined. The stage was set for a three-way struggle that would determine not just the fate of Earth, but potentially the balance of power in the entire galaxy. As night fell on a tense and uncertain world, Dr. Rodriguez and her team began the urgent work of deciphering the clues hidden in the imperial language, knowing that understanding this new threat could be the key to humanity's survival. In the wake of the failed negotiations and the mysterious cyber attack, Earth found itself fighting a war on two fronts. The Galactic Empire's forces still loomed in space, while an unknown entity continued to launch devastating digital assaults on the planet's infrastructure. Humanity's leaders knew that to survive, they needed to push their technological capabilities to the limit and beyond. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, head of the Global Defense Technology Initiative, GDTI, stood before a panel of world leaders in a secret underground facility. Her team had been working around the clock to develop countermeasures against both the Empire's advanced weaponry and the mysterious hackers' attacks. With a determined gleam in her eye, Dr. Tanaka unveiled Project Phoenix, a bold plan to leapfrog Earth's technology by reverse engineering captured alien tech and combining it with humanity's most cutting-edge innovations. The first breakthrough came in the field of quantum computing. By adapting principles observed in the Empire's communication devices, Earth scientists created a new generation of supercomputers. These machines, far more powerful than anything previously imagined, gave humanity the processing power needed to start cracking the Empire's encryption and to bolster their own cyber defenses. In orbit, the space battle had evolved into a high-stakes game of technological one-upmanship. Captain Michael Chen, commanding Earth's flagship, Defiant, found himself in a constant dance of attack and counterattack with the Imperial forces. Each side continuously adapted their shields and weapons, trying to stay one step ahead of the other. One of the most significant developments was the creation of smart dust, swarms of microscopic robots that could be deployed in space. These tiny machines, developed by Dr. Elena Volkov, a brilliant Russian nanotechnologist, proved to be a game-changer. They could form into temporary shields, repair damage to ships, or even infiltrate enemy vessels to gather intelligence or sabotage systems. Meanwhile, the Empire was not idle. Admiral Zorn, determined to crush the human resistance, unveiled a terrifying new weapon, the Stellar Obliterator. This massive ship, capable of harnessing the power of small stars, could potentially destroy entire planets. As news of this weapon spread, fear gripped the people of Earth. But humanity had an ace up its sleeve. In a hidden facility on Mars, a team led by the eccentric but brilliant Dr. Quaim Osei had been working on Project Lazarus, a device capable of manipulating gravity itself. If successful, it could neutralize the stellar obliterator and potentially give Earth the upper hand in space combat. As these technological arms race unfolded, the mysterious third party continued its subtle manipulation. Advanced AI systems on both sides detected anomalies in their data, suggesting that someone or something was nudging the conflict in specific directions. Dr. Rodriguez, working with a team of linguists and cryptographers, inched closer to decoding the hidden messages in the imperial language, believing they held the key to understanding the true nature of the conflict. On the ground, the effects of the technology war were transforming daily life. Cities around the world began to resemble something out of science fiction, with force fields shimmering over important buildings, hover vehicles zipping through the streets, and holographic interfaces becoming commonplace. The rapid advancements brought hope, but also fear, as people struggled to adapt to a world changing faster than anyone had ever imagined. In a bold move, Earth launched its first faster-than-light probe, based on principles reverse-engineered from captured imperial ships. The probe's mission was to seek out potential allies among the stars, carrying a message of peace and a warning about the Empire's aggression. As it disappeared into the depths of space, humanity held its breath, hoping for a response that could turn the tide of the war. The conflict took an unexpected turn when an Imperial research vessel, the Stargazer, defected to Earth. Its captain, a young officer named Zura, brought with her crucial information about the Empire's technology and its inner workings. More importantly, she revealed that a growing faction within the Empire was beginning to question the war, seeing humanity's resistance as inspirational rather than a threat. As Part 4 drew to a close, the technology war had reached a fever pitch. Earth stood on the brink of either destruction or a new golden age of innovation. The stellar obliterator moved ominously closer to the solar system, while Project Lazarus raced towards completion. In orbit, on the ground, and in the digital realm, humans and aliens alike pushed the boundaries of what was possible. Dr. Tanaka, looking out over a lab filled with incredible new inventions, allowed herself a moment of pride. Humanity had come so far in such a short time. But as alarms began to blare, signaling yet another crisis, she knew that the greatest challenges, and perhaps the greatest discoveries, still lay ahead. The fate of Earth would be decided not just by the strength of its weapons, but by the ingenuity and determination of its people. As the technology war raged on, Earth faced its greatest challenge yet, uniting a planet of diverse nations and cultures to stand against the Galactic Empire. The need for a unified global response had never been more critical, and the fate of humanity hung in the balance. United Nations Secretary-General Maya Patel stood before the General Assembly, her voice echoing through the hall as she called for unprecedented cooperation. "We are no longer citizens of individual nations," she declared, "but citizens of Earth. Our differences pale in comparison to the threat we face together." In response to her impassioned plea, world leaders began to set aside long-standing rivalries and conflicts. The formation of the Earth Defense Council, EDC, marked a turning point in human history. This new global body, composed of representatives from every nation, was tasked with coordinating the planet's defense and resource allocation. Former enemies found themselves working side by side. In a symbolic gesture, soldiers from North and South Korea jointly manned a new defense station at the 38th parallel. Russian and American scientists collaborated on advanced weapons systems, while Chinese and Indian engineers worked together to enhance the global shield network. The EDC faced its first major test when food shortages threatened to destabilize several regions. With many agricultural areas damaged by imperial attacks, feeding the world's population became a critical challenge. Dr. Chidi Okori, a Nigerian agricultural scientist, proposed a bold solution: vast underground hydroponic farms powered by geothermal energy. His plan, dubbed Operation Green Earth, was rapidly implemented worldwide. turning abandoned mines and underground facilities into lush food-producing oases. As resources were pooled and shared globally, a new economic system began to emerge. The old concepts of national currencies and trade barriers fell away, replaced by a unified Earth credit system. This new economy, focused on survival and innovation rather than profit, led to an explosion of creativity and problem-solving. Education systems around the world were revolutionized overnight. Children and adults alike enrolled in globe-spanning virtual classrooms, learning crucial skills for the new reality Earth faced. Language barriers began to crumble as a new Earth Common Language, a simplified and universally accessible form of communication, was adopted worldwide. The arts played a crucial role in maintaining morale and fostering unity. The Global Symphony, an orchestra composed of musicians from every country, performed stirring concerts that were broadcast planet-wide. Street artists in every city painted murals depicting humanity's solidarity, while writers and filmmakers created works that captured the spirit of Earth's resistance. However, the path to unity was not without obstacles. Some groups, fearful of losing their identity in this new global society, resisted the changes. The EDC faced protests and even armed resistance in some areas. Secretary General Patel and her team worked tirelessly to address these concerns, emphasizing that Earth's unity didn't mean erasing cultural diversity, but celebrating it as a source of strength. A breakthrough came when the EDC introduced the Cultural Heritage Preservation Initiative. This program ensured that even as humanity united, the unique traditions and histories of every culture would be protected and honored. Virtual reality museums allowed people to experience the wonders of every nation, fostering understanding and appreciation. The global unity movement faced its greatest test when the empire launched a series of coordinated attacks on major cities worldwide. In a scene that would have been unthinkable years before, Chinese fighter jets screamed through the skies over New York, defending the city alongside American forces. Indian ships patrolled the waters around Tokyo, while Brazilian troops helped evacuate London. As the dust settled, the world watched in awe as an unprecedented rescue and rebuilding effort unfolded. Teams from every corner of the globe rushed to the aid of the attacked cities, showcasing the new spirit of cooperation that had taken hold. In orbit, the international crew of the space station, Unity, worked around the clock, coordinating Earth's defensive satellites and early warning systems. Captain Yura Khalil, an Egyptian astronaut, looked down at the planet below, marveling at the absence of visible borders. Earth glowed as one unified entity, its people finally standing together. The Galactic Empire, which had expected to exploit Earth's divisions, found itself facing a united and determined adversary. Admiral Zorn, watching the broadcasts of Earth's unified defense, began to realize that conquering this small blue planet might be more challenging than anyone in the Empire had anticipated. Earth had transformed itself. From a planet of divided nations, it had become a global community, pooling its resources, knowledge, and determination to face the imperial threat. Secretary General Patel, addressing the world on the anniversary of the first alien contact, summed up the new spirit of Earth. We have found, in the face of extinction, the very best of ourselves. United, we are more than a match for any force in the galaxy. The stage was set for the final confrontation. Earth, no longer just a collection of countries, but a true planetary civilization, prepared to assert its place among the stars. The message was clear. The Galactic Empire had awakened not a divided world, but a united human race ready to fight for its future. The moment Earth had been preparing for finally arrived. Admiral Zorn's massive fleet, centered around the dreaded stellar obliterator, entered the solar system. The final battle for humanity's survival was about to begin. General Sarah Chen, Supreme Commander of Earth's United Forces, stood in the control room of Lunar Base Alpha. Holographic displays showed the positions of both Earth and Imperial fleets. She took a deep breath, knowing that the next few hours would determine the fate of her species. As the Imperial Armada approached Mars, Earth unleashed its first surprise. Thousands of asteroids, secretly hollowed out and fitted with engines, suddenly came to life. These rock ships, piloted by brave volunteers, swarmed the enemy fleet. The Empire's neat formations broke apart as they tried to deal with this unconventional threat. In orbit around Earth, Captain Michael Chen on the flagship Defiant gave the order to engage. Earth's fleet, a mix of reverse-engineered alien tech and human ingenuity, met the Empire's vanguard head-on. The space around Earth lit up with energy weapons and explosions. Meanwhile, on the far side of the Sun, Dr. Kwame Osei activated Project Lazarus. The massive gravity manipulation device began to alter the fabric of space itself. Imperial ships found their weapons and shields malfunctioning as they entered the affected areas. The battle wasn't confined to space. On Earth's surface, millions watched the sky, ready to defend their home. When Imperial dropships breached the atmosphere, they were met with a determined ground resistance. In New York, Tokyo, and Lagos, civilians fought alongside soldiers, using everything from advanced energy weapons to improvised tools. As the fighting intensified, the mysterious third force finally revealed itself. A fleet of sleek, organic-looking ships emerged from hyperspace. Their leader, calling herself the Arbiter, announced that they represented the Galactic Council, a federation of free worlds opposed to the Empire's expansion. The Arbiter explained that they had been secretly monitoring Earth, impressed by humanity's resilience. However, before they could offer direct help, Earth needed to prove it could stand on its own against the Empire. With the battle hanging in the balance, Earth activated its secret weapon. The smart dust swarms now evolved into a semi-sentient cloud, engulfed Imperial ships. They bypassed shields, disabling weapons, and life support systems. Admiral Zorn, seeing his fleet in disarray, decided to use the Stellar Obliterator. As the massive weapon powered up, aimed directly at Earth, a tense silence fell over the battlefield. In that critical moment, Zira, the defected Imperial captain, transmitted the Obliterator's weakness to Earth's forces. Captain Chen, seizing the opportunity, led a daring assault on the superweapon. Flying through a storm of enemy fire, he and his squadron targeted the exact spot Zira had identified. On Earth, Dr. Elena Volkov made a breakthrough in decoding the hidden messages Dr. Rodriguez had discovered. She realized they were instructions, left by an ancient race, on how to defeat the Empire's technology. This information was quickly relayed to the fleet. As the Stellar Obliterator prepared to fire, Captain Chen's team struck its weak point. Simultaneously, Project Lazarus reached full power, creating a gravity well that began to tear the superweapon apart. In a desperate move, Admiral Zorn ordered his flagship to ram the Obliterator, hoping to trigger its explosion and take Earth with it. But he was stopped by his own crew, led by officers inspired by Earth's unity and determination. The Stellar Obliterator imploded, creating a shockwave that disabled much of the Imperial fleet. Cheers erupted across Earth and its ships as the tide of battle decisively turned. With their superweapon destroyed and their ships in chaos, the remaining Imperial forces began to retreat. The Arbiter's fleet moved in, ensuring the Empire's withdrawal and preventing any last-minute acts of vengeance. As the last Imperial ships fled the solar system, an eerie quiet settled over Earth. The planet had faced its greatest challenge and emerged victorious. But the cost had been high, with millions dead and much of Earth's infrastructure in ruins. General Chen, her uniform torn and dirty, addressed the world. "We have won our freedom," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "But our journey is just beginning. We are no longer alone in the universe. We have proved ourselves worthy of the stars." As Earth celebrated its victory, the Arbiter met with world leaders. She offered Earth membership in the Galactic Council, opening up new vistas of knowledge and exploration. But she also warned of ongoing threats, including Imperial remnants and other dangerous forces in the galaxy. The decisive battle was over, but Earth's adventure among the stars was just beginning. As cleanup and rebuilding efforts began, Humanity looked to the future with a mix of excitement and apprehension. They had defended their home against impossible odds. Now, united and tested by fire, they were ready to take their place in the galactic community. 5 years had passed since Earth's victory over the Galactic Empire. The planet, once an isolated world on the fringes of the galaxy, had become a rising power in the cosmic community. The scars of war were healing, and humanity was taking its first steps into a much larger universe. On the rebuilt United Nations Plaza in New York, now featuring a massive holographic globe, Earth's leaders gathered for a momentous occasion. Today, they would officially join the Galactic Council as full members. Dr. Amelia Rodriguez, now Earth's ambassador to the stars, stood before the assembled crowd, her eyes reflecting the hope and determination that had brought humanity so far. As she spoke, scenes from around the world and beyond flashed on screens. In orbit, the massive space station Unity had become a hub of interstellar commerce and diplomacy. Ships from 100 alien worlds docked there, exchanging goods, knowledge, and culture with Earth. On Mars, the first human colony was thriving. Huge domes dotted the red landscape, housing not just humans, but also friendly alien species who had come to study and work alongside Earth's pioneers. Dr. Quaim O.C., leading a team of multi-species scientists, had turned Project Lazarus into a research center for advanced physics, probing the very fabric of space-time. Back on Earth, cities had been rebuilt with a blend of human and alien technology. Gravity-defying skyscrapers reached into the clouds, while clean, unlimited energy powered every home. The global unity forged in war had evolved into a new form of governance, balancing local cultures with planetary cooperation. However, challenges remained. Some humans struggled to adapt to the rapid changes and the presence of aliens on Earth. A small but vocal Earth First movement called for isolation from galactic affairs. Ambassador Rodriguez and other leaders worked tirelessly to address these concerns, emphasizing the benefits of galactic cooperation while preserving human culture. In schools across the planet, children now studied xenobiology and interstellar politics alongside traditional subjects. Many dreamed of joining the newly formed Earth Space Fleet, which worked with the Galactic Council to keep peace in the sector once dominated by the Empire. The former Imperial Captain Zira had become a beloved figure on Earth, bridging the gap between humans and the many ex-Imperial aliens who had chosen to defect and make Earth their home. Her insights were crucial in helping humanity navigate galactic politics. As Earth prospered, it didn't forget its duty to the galaxy. The planet had become a beacon of hope for other worlds oppressed by the remnants of the Empire. Earth's fleet, led by the legendary Captain Michael Chen, now Admiral Chen, often conducted missions to liberate worlds and bring them into the fold of the Galactic Council. Dr. Elena Volkov's work on decoding the ancient alien messages had led to astounding discoveries. Humanity learned it was not the first species to rise up against oppression. The knowledge left behind by these precursors helped Earth and its allies push the boundaries of science and technology. On this historic day, as Ambassador Rodriguez concluded her speech, a cheer went up from the crowd. The arbiter, representing the Galactic Council, stepped forward to officially welcome Earth. As they shook hands, human and alien, a new chapter in galactic history began. But even in this moment of triumph, new challenges loomed. Reports from the fringes of known space spoke of a dark force stirring, perhaps even more dangerous than the Empire had been. Earth and its allies would soon be tested again. In a secret facility beneath the Himalayas, General Sarah Chen studied these reports with a grim expression. The unity and strength humanity had found would be needed again, sooner than anyone expected. But this time, Earth did not stand alone. As night fell on this momentous day, people around the world celebrated. In homes and public squares, humans and aliens alike gazed up at the star-filled sky. The galaxy, once a distant and mysterious realm, was now filled with possibility and promise. Ambassador Rodriguez, standing on the balcony of her New York apartment, reflected on the incredible journey humanity had undergone. From a species under threat of extinction to a key player in galactic affairs, humans had proven their worth among the stars. Yet, she knew, the greatest adventures still lay ahead. New frontiers of science, unexplored regions of space, and the deepening bonds between Earth and its alien allies all beckoned. And if new threats arose, humanity would face them with the same courage and ingenuity that had defeated the Empire. As shooting stars streaked across the sky, or were they ships entering the atmosphere? Rodriguez smiled. Earth had declared no entry to the Galactic Empire. But in doing so, it had opened the door to a universe of possibilities. The future, vast and unknown, awaited, and humanity was ready to embrace it.